Evidence for the biggest earthquake in human history has been found by scientists. The quake was so serious, humans fled the area for 1,000 years. Archaeologists have found evidence of the largest known earthquake in human history, a terrifying magnitude 9.5 megaquake that caused a 5,000-mile long, that's 8,000-kilometer long, tsunami, a seismic wave, and prompted human populations to abandon nearby coastlines for 1,000 years, according to the new study finds. The earthquake struck about 3,800 years ago in what is now northern Chile, when a tectonic plate ruptured, lifting the region's coastline. The subsequent tsunami was so powerful, it created waves as high as 66 feet, 20 meters high, and traveled all the way to New Zealand, where it hurled car-sized boulders hundreds of miles inland, the researchers found. And until now, the largest earthquake ever recorded was in 1960 Valdivia earthquake, which hit southern Chile, with a magnitude between 9.4 and 9.6, and there were 6,000 people victims to that, sending tsunamis barreling across the Pacific Ocean. The rupture that caused the Valdivia earthquake was enormous, sending as far as 500 miles in length, extending, that's 800 kilometers in length. But as scientists detailed in research published April 6 in the journal Space Advances, the newly discovered ancient megaquake was even bigger, coming from a rupture roughly 620 miles long or 1,000 kilometers long. It had been thought that there could not be an event of that size in the north of the country simply because you could not get a long enough rupture, study co-author James Goff, a geologist at University of Southampton, England, said in a statement. Like the Valdivia earthquake, the ancient quake was a megathrust earthquake, the most powerful type of earthquake in the world. These earthquakes occur when one of Earth's tectonic plates gets forced or subducted underneath another. The two plates eventually get locked into place by friction, but the forces that cause the plates to collide continue to build. And eventually, so much strain gathers that the point of contact between the plates rips apart, creating a gigantic rupture and releasing energy in the form of a devastating seismic wave. Evidence for the giant quake was found in marine and coastal items such as littoral deposits. These are boulders, pebbles, and sand native to coastal regions, and marine rocks, shells, and sea life that the researchers discovered displaced far inland in Chile's Atacama Desert. So the Atacama Desert had the coastline deposits. You can imagine how big that quake was, the tsunami was. Now, Goff said in his statement, "We found evidence of marine sediments and a lot of beasties that would have been living quietly in the sea before being thrown inland." He said, "And we found all these very high up and a long way inland, so it could not have been a storm that put them there." To get a better sense of what brought these deposits so far from the sea, the researchers used radiocarbon dating. This method involves measuring the quantities of carbon-14, a radioactive carbon isotope, found inside a material to determine its age. As carbon-14 is everywhere on Earth, deposits easily absorb it while they form. The half-life of carbon-14, or the time it takes for half of it to radioactively decay, is 5,730 years, making it ideal for scientists who want to peer back into the last 50,000 years of history by checking how much undecayed carbon-14 a material has. After dating 17 deposits across several separate dig sites over 370 or 600 kilometers of Chile's northern coast, the researchers found that the ages of the out-of-place coastal material suggest that it had been washed inland some 3,800 years ago. Further evidence also came in the form of ancient stone structures that the archaeologists discovered. They excavated ancient stone constructions. These stone walls, built by humans, were found lying beneath the tsunami's deposits, and some were lying backwards, pointing towards the sea. suggesting that they had been toppled by the strong currents of the tsunami's backwash. Goff said the local population there were left with nothing. Our archaeological work found that a huge social upheaval followed as communities moved inland beyond the reach of tsunamis. It was over 1,000 years before people returned to live at the coast again, which is an amazing length of time given that they relied on the sea for food. So, as this is the oldest known discovery in the southern hemisphere of an earthquake and tsunami devastating human lives, the researchers are excited to probe the region further. They think their research could better inform us of the potential dangers of future megathrust earthquakes. Goff said, while this had a major impact on people in Chile, the South Pacific Islands were uninhabited when they took a pummeling from the tsunami 3,800 years ago. Goff said, but they were all well populated now. They are all well populated, and many are popular tourist destinations. So when such an event occurs next time, the consequences could be catastrophic unless we learn from these findings. This is from Ben Turner on Live Science. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.